Yeah, welcome to another edition of WaXed Surf Talk Radio. Our next guest, we interviewed him a few years ago. Always a pleasure to have him back on the program. He's one of the top musicians and surfers out there, the star of Drive Thru, numerous albums that have reached multiple levels of records and numbers. You name it, the man he's the man. I'm a huge fan. Donavon Frankenreiter. Donovan, how are you doing, man?
Hey, bud. Good. I'm stoked to be on the show again.
Oh, dude, we're stoked to have you. And where in the country or world are you touring right now?
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
It's a beautiful place, but today it's about 100. Feels like it's 120, but a lot of humidity.
Oh my God, yeah, summer in Florida. I'm not envious of you there. And you're currently promoting a new album? Is that correct?
I have a new record out that we recorded at the Belly Up in San Diego last year in December, and it just came out this month. It's called Live at the Belly Up. It's songs off of all of our 5 studio records, and yeah, it's just a fun compilation of songs. We recorded it live at the Belly Up. It was really fun.
Oh my God! So I live in Encinitas, right near Cardiff, and the Belly Up is such an amazing venue in Solana Beach. When you did the show there, was that the plan, or does it have to be the plan, or was this kind of impromptu?
Well, it was kind of impromptu. They said that they started to record shows, and we just decided to record it and see what happened. And we loved the way it came out, so we did it. And it was funny because it was a third show on a run of dates that I'm doing with this new kind of setup that I have in the band. I have a 3-piece, and so it was kind of a new thing for us. And I thought it would either go well or it would be kind of weird because it was only a third show with the new setup. But we really enjoyed how it came out, and we put it out, and it's fun having a live record out.
Beautiful. And we're joined by Donavon Frankenreiter here on WaXed. And you said you made some changes to your band. What was your band like before the changes, and what is it now?
Well, we had a 5-piece band, a guy playing bass, guy playing electric guitar. I would play electric and acoustic. We had a drummer and a keyboard player, and I kept the same guy who's been in the band for about 12 years, this guy, Matt Grundy. He's been with me since the beginning. And he's always played bass, and then he went and played electric. But now I have him playing this amazing instrument. It's a double neck guitar, and the top neck is a bass, and the bottom neck is a 6-string electric. So he plays the bass a little bit, and he'll loop it, and then he'll go to electric. So he's like doing two different instruments throughout the songs. And then the drummer's playing drums and percussion, so we break it down and do a lot of duo acoustic stuff with him on percussion. And then I got a guitar that it kind of sounds weird, but it's called the Guitorgan, and it has like it has the schematics of a Hammond D3 inside the hollow body of this 335, and it's literally like 2 instruments in one. I can play it like a guitar, and then if I just hold the chords down, there's wires going up the neck, and I have it plugged into a Leslie, so it sounds like an organ.
Oh my God! It sounds like the way you describe this madness. It seems like you have to kind of be there to truly experience it and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, sometimes people don't even realize Matt's playing electric. They're like, "Great bass playing tonight," and he'll go into a solo, and they'll look at me thinking I'm soloing.
Oh my God! So what I've always wondered when a band goes through these kind of processes, especially when you have a lead singer who's kind of front of the band and he's the name, and then you have kind of the behind the scenes guys. You have this transition. Is there bad feelings that go into that, or is it smooth? Like, how did it go in your case? I just always feel like, situations like that, they just get sort of absorbed in sort of the music and in the band. Like, it's something that just kind of happened naturally, like, I've been with Matt since the beginning, and he's played bass forever, and when we made Start Living, he started playing a lot of electric and acoustic guitars, so I moved him over to guitar, and I tried to find a bass player that would fit, and it would be great, but ever since he stopped playing bass, I just never found a bass player that could bounce and play the bass like he plays the bass. Interesting.
And so it was always like a problem. And, I love the way he played guitar as well. So, I don't know, he brought it. We were doing like a lot of duo acoustic shows, and I just really loved the way they sounded. So I wanted to kind of go back to that, kind of back to the basics of when we first started. When I first came out, it was just, bass. I played acoustic and a drummer, and I kind of wanted to scale it back to that. Since I did, I don't know, I feel like the music has never been any better. There's a lot of space in it, a lot of air, a lot of room for the vocals. And I just always wanted to trim out sort of, I don't know, a lot of the fat in the music. Like, I didn't want a lot of noodling or stuff that wasn't necessary. So it's just fun to kind of break it down and make it, I don't know if it's simpler, but it's just got air and space in it. It's fun.
That's beautiful. And I feel like when it comes to music, you can't really keep doing the same thing over and over again. It gets stale really quick. You always have to evolve, change. adapt. And it sounds like that's kind of what you're doing here. Is that the feeling on your end
I
also?
mean, that's the one constant in music and also in surfing that I love the most, because I think
Mm.
I'd go virtually insane if I had to play the exact same set the same way every single night. You know, it'd be like you'd go crazy. But it's fun to break it up and change it. And that's the thing; it can be really spontaneous with just two other guys up there with me, and you know, we can do a lot of different things. And it's been a great, you know, sort of transition. I think the band sounds better in a way because now when Matt plays the bass and he'll loop the bass and then he'll go to guitar, it's like the bass never moves. So the drummer and myself are playing to this bass loop that is stuck to a groove. I don't know. So it took us like a couple of shows to realize, wow, you know, it's real easy to push and pull or like accelerate during this part of a song. Because I always think like the greatest bands are the ones that are, you know, less is more, and they're just laying back but playing with, you know, a lot of feeling and staying on that groove. It's hard, you know, when you're a musician, I feel like, to play less, you know, like
Right.
it's obviously, you know, there's always spaces and you're like, you just want to fill those in. But, you know, it's been like one of those things where we've learned a lot, I think, in the last, you know, however long it's been, 6 months playing with a three-piece.
Oh, that's beautiful. Enjoying my Donavon Frankenreiter here. You know, speaking of, you're saying both in surfing and music, you got to constantly mix it up. You know, one of my all-time favorite just video anything when it comes to surfing was the Drive Thru series. I've interviewed pretty much everybody that's been that was a member of that show. And I just love sharing these stories with you guys. And then the last time I talked to you, you said you guys were talking about bringing the Drive Thru show back in some form. We'll get to that in a second. But one of my favorite aspects of the show, besides your personality, I mean, you just spice that thing up all the time, whether you're annoying, you know, your fellow Drive Thru members or just bringing that spice in there. But you always had this really funky collection of surfboards that you were riding. What are you riding now? And do you surf on these road trips you're doing with your band?
I do. We have tons of boards, you know, that we bring on the road when we can. And, you know, I've been riding for Hobie surfboards for the last, I think it's been 3 years, and it's been amazing because they make so many incredible wave riding, you know, like just, you know, from stand-up boards to, like where I live in Hawaii, there's a lot of lakes and rivers, you know, and I can go stand-up paddling, and it's really fun. But then they have all the templates from all the lightning bolts and all the early, you know, single fins and longboards. And so they make, I don't know, the boards I've been getting, they've been making some of the most phenomenal boards I've had in, you know, 20 years. I just love their boards.
Oh, that's beautiful. I know you have such an eclectic collection of surfboards. It always fascinated me, and I think it fascinated everyone that was on that show as well. They always wondered,
Yeah.
like, because I remember you would surf these really heavy, like overhead beach break waves that really required a lot of technical skill, and you were bringing these funky, fat, slow boards, surfing these things.
It was always fun to mix it up. That's the fun thing about, you know, the drive-thrus or going out and just surfing. You know, you don't really have to be, you know, how am I going to surf the best on this wave and, you know, maximize the score or whatever. You know, I always love changing it up, and I think that's a beautiful thing about surfing, and especially in this day and age. There's so many amazing shapers, and there's so many people, you know, getting creative and shaping weird boards and great airbrushes and different fin setups.
Yeah.
And I just think the future is, it's just incredible, because when I was growing up, it was like, you know, you kind of had to ride whatever like the hottest surfboard was at the time, or everybody thought you were a kook, you know. Like, but now it's kind of like, you know, you can, you know, boogie board, you can body surf, you know, skimboard. I mean, there's people doing things on waves. They don't really care what you're riding. I think guys are getting so radical and being so great that everything's accepted. You know, you can be riding a longboard, stand-up paddle, whatever, and everybody just seems to be having fun, you know, gliding down the wave. And,
That's true.
In one way or another. And I think it's really cool that that's opened up so many different ways of riding waves.
That's very true. I still think there's some resistance to the stand-up paddle scene when they're actually mixing up with the surfers, but yeah, you're right. And it's definitely a lot more progressive now than it was 10 years ago. And speaking of Drive Thru, I don't remember the last time we talked to each other. It was about 3 years ago, and I totally understand if you don't. But you know, we talked about Drive Thru a little bit, and Pat O'Connell mentioned the same thing to me. I think Kalani Robb, and Benji Weatherly mentioned the same thing to me, that you guys really wanted to at least bring another season of Drive Thru back, maybe doing an East Coast version. Is there any progress on that, and any talks of you guys reuniting?
I mean, I'm just waiting for the phone call. You know, I think everybody is. And I talked to Taylor Steele, and I called Greg Brown, and I said, there's no better time than now to, you know, to do one. I just think that they were kind of wondering on what format to deliver it on, you know, because, you know, either DVDs or like a YouTube channel or something, because I think where it was being the house of, you know, of the drive-thrus was like Fuel TV, and they really changed their format and got kind of bought and sold so many times that, you know, a lot of the stuff on there is like MMA fighting and stuff, and, you know, it's really exciting and great that they kind of eliminated our Drive Thru, but it's still being played in like Fuel TV around the world and stuff. But I told him, I said the greatest new Drive Thru would be, you know, if you got Rob Machado and Kalani Rob, you got myself, you got Pat, you know, all these guys that have been on these Drive Thrus, we all have wives and kids now. So I just told him, man, if you did a family edition Drive Thru and then you had Benji come and he could be the babysitter.
Wow, love
it.
It
would be like, talk about a meltdown. And do it on the East Coast, a couple of RVs and pull in some jet skis and then do the whole month of September or something when there's hopefully a hurricane swell. It would be nuts with kids and just going on a family surf trip. You know?
That'd be amazing. Yeah, and Benji could play the role of, like, say, David Spade in, like, the grown-up films where he's the one bachelor out there. Just
yeah. It would be a wild trip with families. I think it would be cool. And everybody's been kind of waiting. I think that hopefully that they will bring that back and do that because it was some of the most fun times I had on, you know, making surf movies and television shows. And it was just 2 weeks of complete crazy mayhem of, like, you know, just the making of what happens on a surf trip. And it was so fun. And there were great experiences with Aki and Andy Irons and, you know, a lot of special guests that came in and were a part of those shows. It was incredible.
It really was. And you know, another cool thing, besides the fact that it looked like you guys were having so much fun, is that for once, the average surfer can see the surfers that they emulated and look up to surf the same crappy waves that we all have to surf. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it was one of those movies, too, and TV shows that people always told me that, you know, a lot of times you watch surf movies, if you don't surf, you know, a lot of people kind of look the same to people that don't surf, you know, and like your wives or your girlfriends or people be like, you know, turn this movie, it's boring, you know, but like the making of a surf movie or the drive-thrus were always funny because I'd hear it from everybody like, I don't even surf and I love it. I loved it when Pat wanted to punch you in the face because you're bag. And like, you know, you know, just airport drama and like people can relate to all that stuff when they travel. And so it was a different take on a making of a surf movie. And yeah, I just wait for the call. I would go and do another one of those in a second.
Oh, and believe me, I think thousands upon thousands of people watch it if that happened. You know, you're on Twitter at D Frankenreiter. Is that also your handle for Instagram?
I think it's my whole name on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget all those things, all those names.
Well, a couple of your Twitter fans had a couple quick questions for you. At Cowboy Mullet is asking, were you born with your mustache?
Yeah, when I came out of the womb, dude. My dad called it a womb broom.
And
I was born with that thing, dude.
No, your mustache is epic. It's one of a kind. It's amazing. And at More Spanks is asking, when is your next concert/surf retreat?
My next concert/surf retreat? What do you mean, like going?
I have no idea what that's all she asked.
Well, you know, I actually just did. It was kind of cool. I brought my family. We went on this surf trip to the Maldives, and I did 2 concerts on there. I did this thing with a company out of Australia, and they brought about 20 guests, and we did a surf camp on an island out in the Maldives. We had 2 concerts. So that was kind of the first getaway surf trip concert thing that I've done, and they're thinking about doing it again next year, and it's been those have been a lot of fun to do those.
Oh my God, that sounds epic. I know you got to run. I'll try to keep this short real quick. You know, you're in a terrific new online video. It's called Blurring the Lines, and you started with Tom Curren. And a lot of it featured something that's certainly trending up. It's been around for many years, but it's really like skyrocketing in popularity, and that's wake surfing, especially when it's flat or you want to go inland. In this case, you guys are like taking out one of these MasterCraft boats. Tell us about the filming of that and your experience with wake surfing.
You know, it all started when MasterCraft called me about 3 years ago, and they wanted me to be like a brand ambassador for their surf division, and I'm like, I didn't realize how many people surf behind boats until I started to hang out with these guys, and it's a huge thing around the world. And I just started to talk to these guys, and I sat down with their engineers, and I said, hey, look, I'm having fun behind your boats. It's cool. You got a 3-foot wake, and you can let go of the rope. You can ride the thing for miles. But I go, there's people spending tens of millions of dollars on wave machines. I go, you guys already have a wave behind your boat. You know, it's bigger than a wave to me. It's a wave already. And I said, dude, you guys got to build a boat that can create a 6-foot wake that barrels. I mean, you got to do it. And so that's like what we're working on. That's the future of kind of what we're doing. And I think that's, something it's exciting, that's going to maybe hopefully come out in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think it's going to change the way everybody maybe surfs and trains. And because it's kind of the closest I've ever gotten to something behind either a boat or on a wave machine where you can ride your own surfboard.
Right. And you're telling me that you think there's a possibility they can make a boat that'll create like a 6-foot wake that actually hollows out?
Like the face of it's going to be 6 foot, but it'll definitely barrel. But I mean, the wave that I can get behind my MasterCraft right now is like a little bit higher than my waist, and like my kids, they throw the rope and the thing's like almost head high on them, and they just rip it, all, for as long as they can until their legs give way. But it's like it's the most fun ever to be on the water and just create this crazy wave behind behind this boat. But I just think there's like amazing things coming. I can't talk about all the details of it because it's kind of secret with MasterCraft. But there's some crazy stuff they're working on, and I think that's going to be the goal: is try to get the biggest and most barreling wake that they can possibly make. So I just told them, it would just revolutionize the whole, whatever they want to call it, wake surfing, because it wouldn't be a wake anymore. It'd be an actual tube. It'd be a barrel.
Oh, my God. Well, hopefully what you're saying comes true at some point. We're looking forward to it. And before we let you go, I know, I mean, you're from San Clemente, right? I think you were born in Downey, but you grew up in San Clemente, but you have...
I grew up in like Orange County, Mission Viejo. I never really was, like a local at any beach. I kind of, surfed a bunch of beaches. But I did grow up surfing San Clemente, and it was really one of the greatest places I could ever grow as a kid, surfing and growing up there, because I just was always out in the water with some of the best surfers in the world at that time. It was an incredible place.
Oh, and still is. But at some point, you started going to Hawaii a lot, and that's where you kind of developed a relationship with Jack Johnson, where you guys became strong friends. Were you roommates at some point? Is that correct?
Well, there was this. I think his mom was renting a place, and I ended up renting, it was for a couple of weeks, was right there. That's where I kind of met Jack and his brothers. And, that whole crew of people, sort of the Momentum era, and even before that, we all hung out right there in front of Jack's house. That was the place to hang out. And, we were all just there, and we all knew each other. And it was sort of one of those things that I think I started playing guitar at that time. He did, Machado did, Kelly Slater, Peter King was playing in a band at that time. He would always kind of corral us and be like, let's do live shows. And, so that was kind of like the way it all started. But, I had so many of those friends, and, and then, 20 years after that, or however long it was, Jack exploded and started his own label. And then that was like how I, got my start, by that happening. So it was really, it's really cool to go back to the place, dude, where all that kind of started and make my first record.
Dude, I mean, that whole thing, just with all those names you mentioned, and then just playing music and surfing together, I don't know how you can really beat that. Do you guys collaborate still? Do you guys at least surf still? I
I wish. Jack's really busy. You got to imagine, he's got world tour that he's gone for 2 years. I think he's starting his final leg of that tour right now, and he's got people pulling him from all different directions. And, I think the most important thing, or whatever he feels the most important thing in his life, is his family and his kids. So I think when he gets home, he definitely shuts it down. So when I do get to see him, it's incredible. I get to see him maybe once a year, once or twice a year, and it could be at a festival at Passing and stuff. But I hope there's a time that comes when maybe we do another record together, or a song, or we could go on tour together. I don't know. It's that would obviously be another huge, massive, incredible time for me if I was able to happen.
Oh my God, I hope that happens. And before we let you go, mention everything you want to plug. I know you have sponsors and also a website. If people want to, I know on your website, I think it's is it DonavonF.com or DonavonFrankenreiter.com? I apologize.
Yeah, it's just DonavonF.com.
Okay.
You got to spell it DONAVON.
Right, F.com.
And so, if you spell it the other way, you'll go to the hurdy-gurdy site. Nobody's really going to know that unless they know the old Donovan from the 60s.
But if you want to know, because obviously you play some great shows, and their website currently shows that your tour is wrapping up on the East Coast. Are there going to be more shows coming soon?
Yeah, there's a bunch of more shows.
Okay,
Another
good.
Belly Up one coming up in September for a TV taping, and then end of the year run in December. But, if you go to that website, it'll link you to everything that you need to know, as far as like Facebook and shows and sponsors and everything. But I got, great companies that have been working with me for years, like Martin Guitars, and I got my own Martin model coming out next year I'm really excited about, and a bunch of Hobie surfboards and Hobie models that I have coming out, and, obviously all the guys from Billabong and Sanook and Von Zipper, Subaru cars I did a deal with. And so it's like a lot of great brands that have been doing some incredible stuff, and then obviously MasterCraft with my hopefully going to build my dream life.
Oh my God, I hope so too.
The endless barrel, dude.
Oh my God, I hope so too. And I always felt like you should take responsibility in many ways for Sanuk becoming what they are. I mean, you were like the face of that brand for I don't know how many years. I'm glad you're still with them. That's good to hear.
I'm still with them. You know, 'cause I'm really good friends with Jeff Kelly, who started it. We're like really, really close, and
awesome.
I've just always loved what that brand stood for. You know, just having fun and enjoying it, and just I think Sanuk is even like a tie word that means happy. So it's just. I don't know. It's a great thing, and they've been very supportive of what I do musically and sort of beyond just, in the realm of surfing. So it's been a great thing to be beyond a surf brand. You know, they become like sort of a lifestyle brand, and everybody's wearing Sanuks everywhere, not just at the beach. So
yeah,
it's super cool. It's neat.
Absolutely, and because I mean, it is like among the most comfortable footwear you can find. I mean, it's I'm a huge fan of theirs also. And again, go to DonovanF.com, follow him on Twitter at @DFrankenreiter, Instagram, full name Donavon Frankenreiter, DONAVON. And dude, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk today, man. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, bro. And if that wave ever happens, I'll take you out on the boat.
Please do. I'm gonna hold you to that. Thank you. And when when you come to the Belly Up next, I'll really try to make my way there.
Yeah, you gotta come. I don't know exactly when the date is yet. I forget when they're doing the TV taping, but it's definitely maybe the third week in September. But I don't know if they've released that yet. But I think they're going to talk about it soon.
I love it. And if you're saying it's on TV, like what channel? Like how would people see that?
I think it's going to play. It's this Belly Up thing. Is they're starting to film concerts live at the Belly Up, and I think it plays right before Austin City Limits television show.
Oh, beautiful! Oh, that's a great lead-in. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of a new thing. Yeah,
beautiful,
it should be cool.
Well, congrats on everything. And I mean, obviously you have the family, you have the 2 kids. Is it 2 kids still, or do you have a third one now?
2 boys.
Okay.
No, 2 boys is enough, dude.
I love it. I love it, man. Donovan.
Time.
Beautiful, brother. Sounds like everything's going great for you. I wish you all the best in the future, and take it easy, man. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks so much for everything. I'll see you soon.
All right, brother. Take care.
Bye.
That was Donavon Frankenreiter here on WaXed Surf Talk Radio.
That is it for us today, and we will leave you with I can't do it. No. We'll do it live. Do it live. And thing sucks.